Hey, what's going on, guys? Turty here, and welcome back to another tutorial on our Minecraft modding 1.12.2 tutorial series. In this video, we are going to be covering entities, which is it's been a long-waited thing. Everyone's been waiting for an entities tutorial, and when we're going to extend entity living, which allows you to be a lot more customizable. Obviously, if you want to extend an entity that's already in the game, you can do that. That's easier if you need to do that. But we're going to extend entity living. So we're going to call our entity test, because I don't have a name for it. It's not going to be a specific thing, it's just going to be some random model I make with legs and arms and a head and a body, of course. So inside, wait, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go to util, reference, and down at the bottom here, we need public static final int GUI, no, not GUI, I don't know where I got that from. We need test equals 250, but we need to call this actually entity underscore, otherwise we won't really know what it is. And just put a semicolon on the end. That's all we need reference for, so you can close that now. Now we need to go into our init package and we need to create entity init. So new class, call it entity init. Click finish. And drop this down. Inside of here, you want to create a new public static void register entities, just like that. Open this up, and we need to create another method called private static void register entity, just like that. And this one's going to have a lot of parameters, and just in case, for the future, we're going to have another private static void register non-mob entity, just for the future, because we are going to need that. So in register entity, we're going to go to the parameters and we're going to put string name, class, I don't know what these are called, the triangle things, I've totally forgot what they're called, question mark, extends entity, and then on the outside put entity int id, int range, int color 1, int color 2. Inside of here, you want to put entity. Just wait for my thingy to load. Entity registry dot register mod entity new resource location of reference dot mod ID plus string colon plus name. Then inside the entity class, you want to just put entity name, you want to put name, ID, keep that as ID, mod is tutorial mod dot instance, tracking range, you want to put range, update frequency, you want to put 1, sends velocity updates, you want to put true, egg primary, color 1, egg secondary, color 2. And I missed a comma there. Import resource location and entity, net.minecraft.entity.entity. And now inside of register entities, we can put register entity name. We're going to put test entity. We're going to put entity test dot class ID. We're going to put reference dot entity test range. I'm just going to put 50. This is basically how many blocks it can see you from. So obviously you can put this for however many blocks you want to see you from. But we're going to put 50. Color 1. Now for this, you want to do math is fun. Decimal colors. Just put that into Google. And on the first website, it should be this. If you scroll down, you can find these. You can adjust the sliders to get your color, and you see there's the decimal number. So I think primary color, we're gonna have this nice pinkish color. Paste, and then go back to this. We want maybe a contrasting kind of green would be nice. Yeah, so something like that. So we'll just copy that as well. Paste. And that should be it for this class. Obviously we haven't created our entity test yet, so we're going to create that right now. So in our test package, we need to go new class and call it entity test. Now we can go back to entity init, import entity test, and don't know what's up with that. Give it a save maybe. I'm trying to see what it's. Oh, wait. Oh, because our entity does not extend entity living. It doesn't extend anything, and it needs to. So let's extend entity living, import that, and then there you go. It fixed itself. So now we have a few methods to create in our class here. So the first method is the constructor, of course, it always is. So entity test, and just get rid of this. Inside of here you want to put world in. And in here you want to just super off of world in, import world, and then you want to do this dot set size, and I'm just going to put 0.6 f. Actually no, we won't do that yet. we will just keep it like that. Then we will create a new method, so init entity AI. Inside here, this is where you'll put the AIs that your entity has. So I'm just going to add this dot add, this dot tasks dot add task priority. So that's how much priority this task will have. The lower the number, the higher the priority, and the more it will do that action. So I'm just going to put this one as 2, and then task, you want to do new entity AI, and then you have all these different options that you can choose from. So I'm going to choose swimming for the first one, and for entity in, you always put this. And then you basically just want to keep adding tasks. So here's the ones I advise you add. So priority of 2, you want to put new entity AI panic, this, and the speed you want to do 2.0 D. Oh no, we can't have. Let's maybe try 2.2. Huh. Okay. We won't have that one then. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's try entity AI mate. So add task priority. So mate, you normally want to put as 2, and do new entity AI mate. Now some of these AIs are created inside of the actual entity class, which means you can't actually access them. Let's see. Yeah, we can't access that because that's created in the animal class, which is a kind of annoying thing because it means you are limited to what you can have unless you actually extend something. Because if we go into the entity living class, if we go down to the bottom, we should be able to see there's some AIs in here. Okay, they're not created in here. So if we go to reference libraries, Forge source net Minecraft, and we can go to entity, go to AI, there's all these AIs right here which you should be able to use. Yeah, but some of them require you to extend entity animal. Obviously you can create your own AI if you know what you're doing. Personally, I have no clue how to create my own AI. My tests have failed. So yeah. So extending entity living is good because it's not that good, because if you extend entity living, it's a lot harder for you to choose what AIs. You're very restricted on what AIs you can use. So we're going to try avoid entity. No, that won't work either. Let's give it a try, but I don't think that'll work because it's entity mob. No, not entity mob, entity creature, and we're extending entity living. So you just want to put these numbers as something, but it might not work. So yep, we can't do that one. I think wonder should be I think we should be able to use that. So new entity AI wonder, and this, but this is entity creature as well, so we might have to change this. Okay, we're going to change this to entity creature instead of entity living, and import that, and that will allow us to use more AIs. So now we can do this dot we can do this dot mate. Oh no, that's not what I meant. This dot tasks dot add task to new entity AI, not IA, AI mate. No, that's entity animal. So let's have a look. Which one's an entity creature? Wonder, attack melee. That's entity creature. Yeah, we'll have that. So this speed in, you want maybe like 1.5D. Use long memory, true. And what use long memory means is basically it will remember you if you come back later on, which is actually a pretty cool thing. So now let's add another one. This dot tasks dot add task. We're just going to put the priority as 3 because I don't know what it's going to be yet. Entity AI. So let's see, entity creature. So we can now use avoid entity. Yeah, so this one. And for entity in, this class to avoid. Entity mob dot class. Avoid distance. I'm going to set this as 4.0f, so that's quite far. And the speed, so 2.2D, and the near speed, 2.2D. And another thing we can add is this dot tasks dot add task. We'll put this as a priority of 4, and we'll do new entity. I hope this will work because this is actually a pretty cool one. Watch closest. Yes, we can because that's entity living. Perfect. So if you go to watch closest, you can choose this. Watch target entity player dot class, and the max distance we're just going to put as 1.0 f, and that's all the AIs we're going to have. So next we're going to add a few more methods. So we have apply entity attributes, just like that. And this is a very, very important method. So you need to super dot apply entity attributes. Basically, if you don't add this method, your AI won't move. It will stay still and it won't do anything. So then you need to do this dot get entity attribute and do shared monster attributes dot first one we're going to do max health dot set base value, and this is basically a float of how much health it has. So for example, if you put 7, that would mean it has 14 hearts, I believe. So we're going to put this thing at 5, so it has a 10 hearts, I think. And then we can do another one. Well, we need to do another one. This dot get entity attribute shared monster attributes. There are a lot of these other things which you can add, so like knockback resistance, luck, flying speed, armor toughness, attack damage, attack speed. You can add all these different ones, but we're just gonna add the ones which are quite important. And if you don't have, some weird stuff can happen. So movement speed dot set base value, and we want this thing to be quite fast, but you need to be careful with this number, because if you put it too high, it can go very, very fast. Like if you put 1.0f, it would literally, you wouldn't be able to see it when it moves. It would be so fast, it might even crash your game. So I'm just going to put it as 0.20115. That's just a random number I just came up with. But you should be specific with this number. If I try and find entity passive cow, and I show you the movement speed, it is a very, very specific number that they have calculated, because probably even if that 4 was a 5, it would go a lot faster. So we're just going to put it as this, right there. And finally, you want follow range. This dot get entity attribute shared monster attributes dot follow range, and then do set base value. We're going to put this as 10.0d. That's quite far away, if you weren't interested. Next, we have create child. Create child. Oh no, we can't do that because we're not extending entity ageable. Okay, but if you're to create child, you basically need to extend entity ageable. So just ageable. If you import that, then that works, and we will just add entity child just for the sake of it. But obviously, you could have just extended entity creature and not add this method. That's perfectly fine. But for this tutorial, I would like to add this method. So this dot set size, you want to do 0.5f and 0.5f. Oh, and that will basically mean it's half the size when it's a child. And then you want to do return new entity test of world in, just like that. Now there are a few more methods you can add which are very custom. So for example, can be hit with potion, can be leashed to, can be ridden, can be pushed, can be steered, can breathe underwater, can despawn, can drop loot, equip item. There's loads and loads and loads of different things which you can choose. But we're going to add a few more methods, and that is, where are they? Get death sound, get ambient sound, and get hurt sound, and also get loot table, just like that. So in these methods you can return test underscore death, and we're going to go over a sounds tutorial later on So we're going to have a sounds handler. But obviously we're going to need to, for now, we're just going to get rid of all of these, because we don't have any of these yet. So, but we are going to put the stuff in. So return sounds handler dot test underscore ambient. And then for get hurt sound, we're going to return sounds handler dot test underscore hurt, and we're going to leave the loop table for now because we're going to do that later. And now you can close that, and you can close entity edit. Let me just collapse all of this like that. Now we need to go ahead and register our entity init, because I totally forgot, and that's very important. So inside of how come we haven't registered like anything? Have we all put it in registry handler? Oh, we have. Okay, so we're inside of pre-init registries. So actually going back into main, we're going to sort this out. So let's get rid of this, Control X, and put this in pre-init registries. And then we're going to call registry handler dot pre-init registries. In here, we're going to call registry handler dot post init registries, and we don't have. Oh no, we do have server registries. Registry handler dot server registries event. So that will make it easier, and then we don't ever have to have anything else in these methods, which will make that so much easier for us. So after you have done this, wait 1 second, hold up. Okay, we need to do entity init dot register entities, just like that. Now we need to create the render class and the render handler. So let's go ahead and do that. First, I think we should create render. So first we need to actually create the model. So we're not going to do that in this episode because it's already half an hour long. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next part.